Hey, what's up guys? So this is not the video I was intending to release today. I was going to bring you guys something else, but I got a DM today from a friend linking me to a video from a prominent game dev YouTuber you guys might know of, David Wehle. So he was the creator of the game The First Tree, which was a real success, kind of critically acclaimed hit. And from what I understand, he made good money, made just successful all around, which kind of spurred him then to open a YouTube channel where he started like making courses and interacting with the community. So anyways, David on his YouTube channel released a video today, last night or this morning, saying he's quitting YouTube. He's quitting making the kind of videos he's been making and just generally quitting his interaction with the community on the level he had been undertaking. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I'm in a position where I might have some parallels potentially. He made the point that he felt like he was helping everyone but himself. I think the analogy he used was like warming the fire for everyone but himself. And I can understand that. And he also mentioned that he hadn't really set up any boundaries, and as a result, things just started sliding further and further away. And I think that's, an important realization to make. And it's something that I realized not too long ago, actually, as my own channel started growing and I started interacting with the community on a more focused level. There's only so much time in a day. And his own situation was such that he created a course that basically had all these students enrolled. And, with any course like this, there's going to be a demand for support. People are reaching out to him saying, hey, I need your help. You've made this course. Why aren't you helping me? I need your help. Where are you? Kind of thing. And then the bigger and more successful your course is, then the more of that you're going to get. And that goes the same with YouTube or whatever else. And like myself, David is primarily at heart a game creator. We want to create games. And YouTube was sort of like his parallel thing that we ended up getting wound into. And that's definitely the case for me. I never thought like, hey, I'm going to be a YouTuber. That's kind of a thing that happened. And over time, enough people were interested in the videos, so I kept making more. But I realized early on that there is a risk here of sustainability, that you can't just expect to keep growing, and nothing else is going to give. And like David, I have a family and I've got other interests. And in my case, I've got a development job. So I don't need to be doing YouTube. It's not a thing that I need to be doing. It's not a career path for me. I have a career already. I have a career as a developer outside of YouTube, which I love, which is very satisfying to me. So it's a bit of a warning for those who think they're going to get into YouTube as a career, I suppose. Because as your channel grows, everything else escalates around it. You have a community that grows. You have other interests that start kicking in. And you got to keep feeding that fire, or it's going to tank. And that's very much how the YouTube algorithm is set up as far as I can see, that a creator is expected to keep making their best video, essentially. So you have to be very careful what you ask for when you play around with not just YouTube, but anything. Be careful what you ask for and understand the implications of any particular choice you make. For example, I had been planning and working on making a Unity course for beginners. And I was about 3/4 way through the draft when I realized, hey, who's going to support this thing? I'm going to build it, but people are going to get stuck. People are going to need support. And of course, the Unity spec will constantly change. And who's going to be responsible for the updates? Of course, it has to be me, right? Because that's what people want. And obviously, you can set up an infrastructure around that, but that also takes time. It's going to need your input and interaction on a daily basis even. So I kind of put that on hold. And it's probably something I will come back to later. But there is no way I could roll that out and have it not interfere with my life, with my own development, on my own projects, and everything else. So I made that choice with the realization that this is not passive income. There is this mistake that people often have where they'll see something like a Unity course, for instance, and think, oh, that's great passive income. You just make it and, people will buy it and you just keep making money. No. You are constantly involved in this. There is going to be a demand for you, for your support. And in my research into making a course, I remember reading some of the reviews of other people's courses, because I often like to read negative reviews because I think those are often the most telling, right? And some of the reviews were like 1 star. Hey, this guy didn't even respond to me within 4 hours. Like, where is this guy? And it's like, oh my God, man, like, what the hell? Like, take it easy, People need to sleep or whatever. They're not robots. Now, David also mentioned that from time to time he would help people with their problems, only to have them then asking for more, taking more, and in some cases being even like angry about it, that he wasn't giving enough. And it reminds me of that old adage, give them an inch and they will take a mile. And I've been regularly reminded that that is in fact true. So we have to be very careful with how many inches we give out. Because one who is drowning is in no position to be helping others swim. Be careful what you ask for, what you wish for, and consider the implications. There was another YouTube channel, I remember, he was making like a Maple Story fan game, and I think the channel was called Pico-U or something like that. They released this viral video. They just went like gangbusters on Reddit, and they had this windfall of subscribers overnight. After which they released a video saying like, hey, I don't actually have any content to make here. I wasn't expecting this kind of success. And, he had like, 30 or 40,000 subscribers within a week of having just a few hundred. And he was like, hey, I actually have a job and I'm still finishing my studies. And and he pretty much never made a video ever again. And that channel is now dead. But he should have known that in a sense, because the video he put out was like a devlog and it was very well made. And I guess part of him was like, oh, I guess this is not going to be so successful. But part of him should have also considered that, what if this is successful? Can I support this channel? Can I continue making more content? Because if you have a big success like that on YouTube, you have to keep feeding it. Otherwise, it's going to drop off. That's how it is on YouTube, where if the algorithm throws you a bone, it's often said that you have to capitalize off it. And if you don't, it can be a real problem for your channel later on. If that is true, I don't know, but that is something that I've anecdotally heard in the past. And it's why often in my own Discord channel, I'll have people reaching out to me to say, hey, why don't you cover this topic? This is a very viral topic right now. Why don't you cover this? This is going to be great. This will get you a lot of subs, a lot of views. And I'm like, nah, because I don't want to be chasing viral topics, partly because, believe it or not, I don't actually want my channel to blow up. And you might think, well, you're full of shit, John. I don't believe that. But believe it. Because, I mean, obviously, if it happens, it happens, and I will deal with that. But I like my life the way it is. I have a comfortable life. I have a routine. And the implications of suddenly having like, hundreds of thousands or millions of subs overnight, if somebody could just press a button and have that with an engaged crowd waiting to for your next video, that's a lot of pressure. And you got to grow into that. It's not something you just want to be flung into, There is a saying I quite like, which is beware of unearned wisdom. And there is a variation of that, I believe, which is beware of unearned success. And it's why you see a lot of these overnight lottery winners who get it all. They kind of also just as quickly lose it all, because you don't understand the process and stairs you have to climb to get to that point. And with each new step you climb in those situations, there is an understanding of what it takes to be at that point. So when you just go straight to the top with an elevator, then you don't know how to maintain that baseline. So it all unravels. So I'm happy to just take it slow and grow sustainably in a way that I'm still happy to keep making content. And in the case of David and myself, we're not just making entertainment content like devlogs and stuff. We make content with the intention of benefiting and helping people. A lot of my videos, I talk about game dev lifestyle and just process and, just how to, more than just simple tutorials, basically. Then often people will want additional help. And that's perfectly fine and understandable. On any given day, I get, like at least 10 emails a day from viewers asking a variety of questions, needing help. Emails from anything from like simple Unity questions. It's like, hey man, just Google it. Like, why are you emailing me over this? This is probably the first result in Google. But then, all the way through the people telling me about their, psychological problems or whatever. And it's like, hey, I don't think I can help you with this. I'm not qualified. I'm not a therapist, unfortunately. It's hard because you want to help. And I actually do what I can. And I've had plenty of conversations with different people in the community trying to, get them past their phobias or whatever, what have you, where I feel it's appropriate, where I feel I can actually provide some input based on my own experience, maybe something I've also gone through or dealt with. But the problem is then there is a risk of a dependency loop being created, and I don't want that to happen. I mean, the videos I make, that's kind of the extent of that's why I make the videos, right? Like that is the advice. The advice is the video. And often you might have to pass up a response or something because I just can't physically get to it all. This is also the challenge. And those recipients might feel like, hey, they've forgotten about me or my email wasn't interesting enough. And it's not at all the case. More likely it's the case that, my children were calling from the other room when I looked at that email, and before I knew it, it got buried by, And I'm so thankful that I have certain people in the community, in the Discord group specifically, that are in my corner and helping me to run this ship and keep it off the rocks. The Discord community is now beyond 3,000 members. I think we increased like 10% to like 3,300 or 400 in the past week alone because of the game jam we announced. Without these people, I couldn't do it. So thank you, George, Ashford, and Alex, my moderators. And the problem is, right, when you get to this peak of success or whatever it is, and success is relative, success can mean 10,000 subs or 50,000 or 100 or X much sales or this many followers or whatever. Obviously, we're talking in the domain of online game devs and this kind of bubble. But it's all relative to what you know. So one person's success is going to be different to another's. But that feeling, that perception of success is the same. When it goes down, and eventually things do go down, this is how it is. Very few have managed to just keep, it's that old saying, what goes up must come down. These simple phrases are often reign very true. But the higher you are on that curve and the steeper you have to fall, the bigger the impact it's going to have on your life. So you have to be prepared to psychologically deal with that. And that's part of the reason also, like, hey, I don't want that astronomical growth very suddenly, because then just as quickly you can lose it. And that can be quite difficult to deal with for some people. And in the end, the reason we get into this stuff is for the love of the craft, for the art. But at a point, there's often a risk where it becomes something else. And in David's case, obviously, he burnt out. And it's unfortunate because, then we've lost a great contributor to the community. that could have, continued to sustainably help people, to entertain people. But it seems to me that he was probably just doing too much. And it's this reminder to myself, that's kind of why I'm a bit melancholy thinking about it, because I understand that I'm also at risk of this at times. I like to make these videos for you guys. It's really cool, but I've got to do it at my own rate, at my own pace. That's the only way I can do it, because I have to balance it with other facets of my life. And the moment I start exceeding what I can do because of community demands or something like that, then it's no longer fun. It's no longer about the art. It's about something else. It's about fulfilling an obligation because you feel you need to, or you're going to lose relevancy, or you're going to lose support, or you're going to lose just fans or whatever. Like, that's what it becomes. And that's when, developers get, or creators get jaded, and in time they quit, And I don't want to follow that path. So I put a lot of measures in place now to try to live a balanced life, and psychologically, physically, be able to just continue doing what I love doing and keeping it fun. But I'll admit there have been times where I did cross that line, and it was like, okay, this is not so much fun anymore. It's more of a duty, more feels like a job, where, even turning this camera on starts to feel like, it's a bit of a chore, because, there's a lot more that I also would like to be doing instead of this. Some people love it. Some people just kind of can't wait to turn on that camera. And often it's in the case where they've got like endorsements or sponsorships or things like that. And funnily enough, I've had plenty of those come my way, especially after I had some successful devlog videos in the past. My emails just lit up with sponsors asking me to promote this mobile game, that mobile game. It's like Raid Legends or some crap. And each and every one of them, I told them, no, it's not going to happen. Sorry. And a lot of them, they offer good money, like thousands of dollars in some cases to promote some crummy mobile game. And that's not to say I'll never take an endorsement or something like that, but it depends, right? Because the moment I go through that doorway, it's kind of hard to go back. Once you get a taste of that that kind of arrangement, and there's more in the pipeline, then it becomes about that. And I saw another YouTuber talking about that. It's like an Aussie guy, Randy, that's right. I saw this Randy guy talk about that once, where he mentioned he was kind of not enjoying it because he was chasing from one kind of sponsorship to another because his channel had really nice success. And I can understand that. And it's part of the reason where I'm like, I don't know if I want to get caught up in this mess, because I want to do this for fun. I want to continue doing this for fun. And unfortunately, that means at times I have to lock myself out of what could be potentially good, deals, and, turning down money even, or whatever, things that people don't typically want to do, but all to preserve essentially my mental state when dealing with this channel. I mean, this is so anyways, this is just off the cuff video with, no talking points or anything. So I wasn't quite sure where it would lead. But hopefully there are some lessons here for those of you watching who might be wanting to get into the YouTube dev game. I know this is a very popular thing to get caught up in at the moment. Every game developer believes that they need a YouTube channel to have any chance of success, which is a fallacy. It's not at all true. The amount of time we often put into these channels can be very useful, of course, and not to deter anyone. If you like it, go for it. But there is a big catch. Doesn't come cheap. But I wish David well, and I'm glad he made that video just so we can all understand the situation and that he didn't just disappear off the grid, which some developers have done. Game dev YouTubers rather have done. They've just kind of said, hey, I've had enough, and they just disappear. So yeah, thanks for your transparency, Dave, and we appreciate the content and that which you have done for the community. And I wish you all the success in the future, and I can't wait to see what games you have coming out in the future. Oh, and please jump over to David's channel, GameDev Unlocked. I'll put it in the pinned comment down below. Have a watch of his last video and show him some love in his comments. I think that guy really deserves it. So all the best to everyone, and good luck on your game dev journey. We've got a game jam kicking off at the moment. If you haven't noticed, I'll put a link down below. This is happening on June the 11th. It's going to be a pretty good jam, and we've been featured by itch at this point. I think we've got like 500 people already joined the jam. So it's pretty exciting. It's going to be really cool. All right, guys, I hope to see you there, and all the best. See you in the next video. Bye.